for another one. Before we start, I want to do a shout out to my friend James Michael Spahn, who's doing an Indigogo project right now called Class Compendium for Labyrinth Lore. Now, his company, Barrel Rider Games, through his company, he's put out a lot of optional classes for Labyrinth Lord or any other basic D&D, or even for like first or second edition, you probably use them. But he's putting them all together in a book, and he's doing an Indigogo project right now, and he's got about 27 days as of this recording to for funding. So if you want to get in on it, just go to Indigogo and look for Class Compendium for Labyrinth Lore. I'm going to be putting the link in when I put the video up. But anyway, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite games, Tunnels and Trolls. Now, once again, I'm kind of a late bloomer on this. It's been around for about 30 years, and like anybody else, I kind of poo-pooed it as, oh yeah, rip off of D&D, whatever. This is the second game ever published, our role-playing game ever published. And believe it or not, it beat Dungeons and Dragons to Britain and Europe. TNT got there first. It's been around for about 30 years. They're working on a deluxe version right now. A little more about that in a minute. But yeah, it's been around in one form or another for quite a while, and they have a big fan base, especially, like I said, in Britain and Europe. I got a copy a couple of years ago at a convention. Somebody just walked up and said, well, we heard that you, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, who it was. But they said, well, we heard on the podcast Save or Die that you wanted a copy of Tunnels and Trolls, so here, have my old set. So this is Tunnels and Trolls 5th edition, right here. It's a box set. And what you get from it, what you get in the box is Tunnels and Trolls book. And you also have a few other things like a solo adventure, a GM adventure, Castle Ward. Came with the solo adventure Buffalo Castle. And a few other odds and ends like character cards and things like that. I always like character cards instead of character sheets. They're portable, and you got your character right there, and they don't take up much space. I've crammed a few other odds and ends due to Tunnels and Trolls in this. But anyway, this is the one a lot of people play. After this, they came out with they never came out with a 6th edition. There's an unofficial 6th edition floating around there, where some people took the game and added house rules and things like that. I think the 6th edition was actually in French, believe it or not. But they also came out, after that, they came out with 7th edition, which I think is an improvement on the game. It came out in a 10, and shortly after that, they came out with 7.5, which I also have, which I like because, once again, it's digest sized. And on top of that, all the books are spiral bound. I love that. And like I said, right now they're working on a deluxe. Well, let me talk about the game itself. The game itself is easy peasy. Great for getting people into the hobby if you don't want to run them right into Dungeons and Dragons, or you just want them to play with this. Now, this system is things I'm familiar with. It's all D6s. Everything is D6s. Playing Champions all those years, I'm really familiar about that. Basically, you make up your character. It's got stats, a few stats like, the usual strength, intelligence, dexterity, so things like that. But when it comes to battle, things like it's a comparison thing. It's a dice pool thing. Each monster has what they call a monster rating, which is probably the sum of all its attacks, things like that. It still may have special attacks and stuff, but basically, say the monster has a monster rating of 50. Okay, you divide that by 10, which gives you 5, and add 1. So that's what the dice it throws. It's 6 dice, okay? And say I have a character, and I'm going to go fight this monster. Say it's I don't know, a big old orc or something like that. An ogre. Let's call it an ogre. So it throws 6 dice. It also has something called adds, which is half of its monster rating. So half of its monster rating is 25. So there's 25 what they call adds. Now characters also have adds too. It comes from their strength, dex, and the weapon they use. Say I have I don't know, great axe that throws 4 dice plus adds. Four dice, say, plus, oh, I don't know, 10. So the monster would roll the d6s and put his adds in. I would roll the d6s and put my adds in and compare the numbers. And whoever has the highest numbers wins. And the damage is the difference between my number and the ogre's number. Say it's a difference of 10. Okay, fine. And the ogre won. Okay, I take 10 points of damage. I also have armor, which takes off an X amount of points. They have plate armor, it takes off 6 points. So I would take 4 points of damage. That's how the combat works. Now, in groups, you take all the monsters, monster ratings, and adds, add them together. The other group, they roll separately, and then they say, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this. We add it together and compare again. Okay? And the losing side takes the difference. Now, the thing is about the difference is you can spread it out however you want. You don't have to say every character takes X amount of damage. And it comes off, in 5th edition, comes off your constitution. And I believe in 7.5 it does too. But the thing is, you can do stuff like, oh, okay, the fighter's big and tough. He can bounce more off his armor or suck up more than the scrawny little wizard over here. So he'll take, like, say, once again, it's 10, and you got 4 players. A thief, a wizard, and 2 fighters. So the 2 fighters can take, like, the brunt of it. And the other 2 characters can take less because they can't deal with less. Also, wizards can actually cast while wearing armor. They can wield weapons, but only for so many dice. Like I think a sword is about a short sword is about the only thing they can use. They're restricted on how many dice of damage that the weapon does. There are no clerics, but the healing is handled by the wizard spells. They have wizard spells that you can do. Plus, you usually got the healing potions, things like that. And as far as turning undead, anybody can do it. I know there's a system for banishing undead in there, but I haven't really looked into it too much. Now, 7.5 added a couple of things. It added speed and wizardry. Now, before wizards with magic and TNT, you had to use your strength because it's a point-based system. You first of all, you got to qualify for the spell. Okay, here's the thing about spells. First level spells. There's like 20 levels of spells. First level spells, wizards get all of them. Just the whole, every first level spell. After that, they got to buy them or get somebody to teach them, because the Wizards Guild will charge them something of a hefty price too. They also have to meet minimum dex and strength requirements, I believe, or intelligence requirements. And there are, with the thieves, which they call rogues, can also cast spells, but they don't start with any spells. They have to buy them or get somebody to teach them, because the Wizards Guild will not touch rogues. They only do wizards. And basically, it's a catch as catch can. Kind of like certain thieves can, thieves can throw certain spells like off scrolls and stuff. But they have to get their own spells their own way. And there's a magic point cost. Now, in 5th edition, it comes off your Constitution. But in Tunnels and Trolls, they have a stat called Wizardry that it comes off of that. And there's ways of reducing that cost by your level, and also if you have a staff or make a staff, you can run it through the staff and it'll give you a point break cost and things like that. But like I said, you needed strength to survive in the world. So you needed strength to survive in the world, but you also needed strength to cast spells in 5th edition. That's why they changed it to wizardry in this, because it was getting to be a ridiculous thing. Like, wizards are starting to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger just to cast spells, and something, I don't know, that didn't work. It didn't work for me either. But they changed that. They also came out with, this is through Fiery Dragon Games. This is out of print. I managed to get one through a trade, through a sell from a third party. And they also have what they call, Fire Dragon put out the Delver's Pack, which is basically more of the same. More spells, more monsters, things like that. It's kind of an adjunctive to this. I would prefer this. Oh, they also have talents in here. They don't have any skills in 5, but in 7.5 they came up with talents. Talents are basically skills, but it's a really easy way to do the skills. It basically, you pick the, I'm going to quote Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls here. You pick the stat, or rather, you don't even pick the stat. You just roll, you can add like 2 points to any saving roll. Now, what are saving rolls? That's everything that isn't combat. It's great. You know the saving throws in D&D? They sort of expanded to include everything. You want to climb a rope? Do a level 1 saving roll. They go in levels. And basically you are rolling a set number, which is levels. I think it starts at 20, 25, 30, minus your level. Or that doesn't seem right. It's and you're rolling on 2d6, by the way. You're rolling on 2d6. And as far as saving rolls go and character creation, first of all, let's say character creation. They do, it's 3d6, and they have what they call exploding dice in here. You can't use it for combat and damage, but when you're rolling a character and you roll a 6, you roll doubles, I should say, you get to roll over. Add that and roll over. And you just keep going. Same thing with saving rolls. You're rolling 2d6, you roll doubles, take that, put it aside, add that, and roll again. You roll two more doubles, okay, take that. And it just keeps going, you know, which is really nice. And in this game, a 3, a 1, and a 2 is a fumble. Okay, so they had to work it out somehow. I'm sure I didn't explain this very well, but it is a fun game to get people in. One of the drawbacks, they say, not to me, is the buckets o' dice syndrome. If you get like really big monster rating monsters, you're rolling a lot of d6s, and a lot of the characters are rolling a lot of d6s. Playing champions for 12 years, I'm used to a lot of d6s. I love it when I had a 20 d6 energy blast. You know, boom! Oh my gosh, look at that! But but they have ways of dealing with that. Ken St. Andre, the author, suggests you use multipliers, which I think is pretty good. Say you have a 60 monster rating, or let's say like 150 monster rating. That's 15 dice. That's 16 dice. So basically, you roll 10 dice and divide it. Or no, my math is wrong. Sorry. So you roll, I don't know, 16 dice. Let's see. I'd roll 8 and double it, actually. But basically, you take it by 10, times 10. And you can figure out the damage that way. You kind of average it out. Which, to me, that's fine. That's suitable. I can deal with that. But like I said, they are coming out with a deluxe edition. It was a Kickstarter. I backed the Kickstarter for all of $26. Basically because I just wanted a copy of the book. It's been over a year since it's funded, and they released like the beta, and they released the magic system just because but they haven't finished it yet. Some people are getting impatient. I don't mind waiting. This is my first foray in Kickstarter, so I didn't know what I was doing. So this was kind of a learning experience for me. I contributed via PayPal, which I understand you can't do because Kickstarter only uses Amazon for its debt, for payments, and Amazon and PayPal don't talk to each other. But they had a special button on the Kickstarter page saying, okay, you want to pay PayPal here. Now the downside is I'm not an official funder, which means every time something comes out that I'm supposed to get, I gotta send an email to, Rick Loomis saying, I hear this is out. Can I get it, please? Thank you. And I'm really wondering if I'm actually going to get a copy of the book. But that's all well, that's all. I mean, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm just waiting like everybody else. In the meantime, we have these. Please go play it. It's a great game. I had a lot of fun with my grandson with this. I want to do a lot more of it. I'm kind of torn. D&D, Tunnels and Trolls. I can play both, no problem. Anyway, that's my take on Tunnels and Trolls. Go play it. It sounds a little confusing, but it's the way I tell it. So, anyway, give it a try, and I'll see you next time.